California's charter cities have come under scrutiny in recent years because of three high-profile municipal bankruptcies. Locally, San Diego is the largest of 8 charter cities in the county. Escondido is also flirting with the idea of becoming a charter city. But there is disagreement over whether charter cities are good for taxpayers. Joining me to shed more light on the topic are San Diego State University and UC San Diego political science professor James Ingram and Murtaza Baksamusa of the Middle Class Taxpayers Association. Professor Ingram, cities are either governed by general law or charters. Explain the difference.
Well, basically, California has 482 cities, and 121 of them are charter cities, which means that rather than taking their framework of government from the basic California government code, they get to write their own constitution.
Okay, so recently San Diego voters approved a charter amendment, Prop A.
Right.
That's different from becoming a charter city. What's the distinction?
Well, basically, if you have an existing charter, that means you are a charter city, then you can then make changes to it. So we figured out there was something wrong with our election system in San Diego, and we were able to fix it. If you're a general law city, the government code's the only way you could change the rules to make sure things work.
Murtaza, your group, the Middle Class Taxpayers Association, has launched a website this week called charterwarning.com. Why does the public need to be warned about charters?
We put this website together to provide a resource for cities that may be considering going charter in November in order to talk about the costs and the risks of this kind of an approach. Particularly, we're concerned about taxes, deficits, and corruption, such as the one we saw in Bell, San Bernardino, and other cities in the state.
What do you mean, taxes, corruption? Are those traits, are those happenings that only take place in charter cities?
Well, charters themselves are not inherently the recipe for disaster. What is the problem is if there is a small or medium-sized city that does not have the institutional capacity to do a well thought out plan and have the laws in place to prevent bad things from happening. So what you saw, for example, in Bell is only 400 people showing up to the poll booth to have a charter in place that got rid of all laws that governed the city, but did not put in place something that protects taxpayers, such as balancing the books. In a study of LA, the LA grand jury found that only 5 out of 12 cities in LA actually balanced the budgets. In other words, they ran deficits. This is what leads to bankruptcies and other problems.
So, Professor Ingram, in recent years, there have been 3 charter cities, Vallejo, Stockton, and San Bernardino, who have declared bankruptcy. Is there a connection between being a charter city and declaring bankruptcy?
Now, there's a recent study by the Wall Street Journal where they indicated non-charter cities go bankrupt as well. It would be like, look at Detroit, Michigan. I mean, is Detroit, Michigan facing the problem of fiscal insolvency because they're a city charter city, or are they facing it because the auto industry went bye-bye?
So where does this perception come from?
Well, bad cities are governed poorly. I mean, there's a great quote from Alexander Hamilton where he says, for forms of government, let fools contest that which is best governed is best. If you elect someone like a Bob Filner in a city that's a charter city like San Diego, is the fact that San Diego had problems under Filner the fact that, that we have a charter, or is it because we elected Filner? Right, so if you elect bad people, even under a good charter, it's not going to work out well.
So, Murtaza, you contend that Washington-based lobbyists are behind this effort to turn cities into charter cities. Where's the proof of that? What would be their motive?
I think there's an important distinction to make. In California, we have strong rules in place that allow, for example, the 3 things. One is balanced budgets. It's not there in charter, you have a problem. Second, on salaries and compensation, there is a 5% cap under general law. If you go charter, you may get rid of it, and a lot of politicians might get rich off it. The third, in terms of taxes and assessments, there are proper procedures laid out in the California Constitution and under state law. Well, if you get rid of it, you can write your own rules.
But very quickly, you say that the Washington lobbyists are behind this effort. Where's the proof of that, and why would they be?
Well, they were there in all the cities that we've seen the last round. For example, Costa Mesa, Garden Grove, Escondido, and others, they had very similar templates that were essentially shell shell documents that were provided with very similar language with a certain ideological motive behind them. That was not really the will of the people being expressed. People rejected those, but they're coming back again.
But who are the lobbyists?
Well, there are some contractors that believe that they can save money if we don't follow state law. But the converse is true, because state law says that if you do not require prevailing wages in contracting, then you do not get state funds. Therefore, taxpayers are getting the short end of the stick.
Reaction to that, Professor Ingram?
Well, yeah, it just depends on what charter system you've written. I mean, some people who have been against the, I mean, there's one of the reasons why local building trades have been in favor of having a general law city, is because then you basically are, if you're a charter city, you're exempt to prevailing wage that the state law provides. If you're not a charter city, you have to go by state law. So basically, one way of preventing a city from, doing this, giving this ability to pay people what it would wish to on the bidding and stuff, is to go to create a charter city. So I mean, that's possible that there'd be people interested in making construction cheaper that way.
And we're going to have to close it there. It's a complicated topic. Professor
yes.
Ingram, Murtha, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Mita.
Thanks.